Great to have your company here for this Tuesday, the 28th of March on TSB, Talk Sport Business on Talk 100.3. If you do want to get in contact with us, you can. It's 0586861003.
TSB, Talk Sport and Business. Talk 100.3.
Or you can always get in contact with us on the toll-free number. It's 800 81003. Well, as the countdown to the IPL is on 5:30 Friday, we've got all the action for you live here on Talk 100.3. Our next guest is Vikrant Gupta, topping off the show today. He is the managing editor of Aaj Talk and Sports Talk. He's a sports presenter who we've had quite a few times here on TSB, and I believe that he is on the line now. Vikrant, thank you very much for joining us here on Talk 100.3.
It's a pleasure. That's always a pleasure.
Vikrant, IPL just around the corner, but a quick review on the WPL. How's the response been, and how have the people lapped up WPL?
Yeah, it's a journey that has just begun. And if we were to compare this with the IPL that has been around for 15 years, I think that'll be a mistake. Women's cricket, people are watching it, and it's not the numbers, but I think the intent which is there.
Right.
The first edition did expose the Indian cricket system to an extent, the Indian women's cricket system to an extent, because we just had the four overseas players. Right. And for all the franchises, it was difficult to put out 11 on the park. One or two youngsters in every team were below par. But then, that's the beauty of it. Maybe in times to come, like I said, it's a process. Maybe in the coming years, maybe in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, we will definitely see a change. I think the intent has been right.
What impact do you think the success of the WPL is going to have on some of the less significant women's cricket nations? Or is this just going to be another example of India, England and Australia separating from the rest of world cricket?
Well, I hope it doesn't go that way. But again, those nations will also have to come up with a cricket system which encourages their women to play better. If you look at the international women's cricket, India, of course, is not a force. You've got Australia, you've got England, you've got New Zealand. West Indies has done well. South Africa did very well. So if you count India, you're talking about 6 nations. Like you said, I don't know if it will have a global imprint like the men's cricket. But again, you have the World Cups, you have the World T20s, and we do see that there is interest in those tournaments. Women's cricket so far had been nation versus nation,
right.
But in times to come, even if these 6 nations plus a few more can keep the feeder system on, I think you'll do well.
Right, Vikrant, IPL 31st, we're starting IPL, but this time it's starting with a different set of rules altogether. And one of the things that caught our attention and our imagination is the impact player rule. Could you throw some light on the impact player rule, Vikrant?
To be honest, I am not a fan of the changes that are being done to the IPL. You exchange the 11s after the toss.
That's right.
Well, I don't think that is required. I mean, the rules of the game should not change. I don't think football, in soccer, they change the rules as much because IPL doesn't need gimmicks.
Right.
So, like I said, the IPL is not something which needs gimmicks to run. IPL is serious business. I mean, we talk about serious cricket.
Right.
And if international cricket were indeed moving that way, wherein you have an option of exchanging the 11 after the toss, so be it. But right now, I don't think there's any move towards that extent. So the first change, which is the 11 after the toss, I'm not a fan of it. Impact there again. If you remember, there was a super sub.
There was a
rule regarding a super sub earlier, and now they have an impact there. In fact, India tried that in the domestic T20 tournament as well.
Right.
Again, is it going to happen internationally? Will it really add to the charm of cricket, or will it, to my mind, I think it'll take over the role of an all-rounder. I mean, when the team sat in the auction, they paid a lot of money for the all-rounders.
Right.
And the moment you have an impact player, you can have 5 batsmen, you can have 5 bowlers, plus the wicket-keeper. And depending on whether you're batting first or bowling first, you have an impact player.
True.
So my only worry is that the charm of an all-rounder may just go away.
Well, this is interesting, as you say, because considering the fact that most of the all-rounders have been an outcome of a good IPL season. We've seen most of the all-rounders who've come into the Indian side also have been a product of IPL. And if these all-rounders would be sidelined because of an impact player rule, I think it will be a shame of creating such a structure.
I'll just give you a hypothetical hypothetical example.
Sure.
Chennai Super Kings, for example.
Right.
Chennai Super Kings, even though they have all-rounders, so the 11 that they'll put out on the park, when they have an impact player, let's say if they're batting first, so they may exchange Raidu, who's a batsman,
Right.
with maybe somebody like Prashant Solanki, who is a right-arm leg spinner, which means that there will not be any place for an all-rounder called Nishant Sindhu. Now, Nishant was a member of the India under-19 team
Right.
that won the World Cup. He scored runs, he picked up wickets. But in the garb of impact player, you will not replace him unless Jadeja is injured or Moeen Ali is injured, because you've got Jadeja, you've got Moeen Ali, you've got Ben Stokes. You will not need an all-rounder.
True.
But in times to come, maybe in a year, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, Nishant Sidhu could be the one who might be playing for India in the T20s. He could be the one that you're looking for in terms of the World Cup. But he may not get a game in this IPL. Why? Because the impact player rule is such that you will replace a player with another player who's a specialist in that field, not an all-rounder.
That's a very interesting point of view there. Very interesting point of view.
Vikrant, do you have any thoughts on where Steve Smith is going to go? Is he going to become a commentator, or is he joining a side after he released that statement yesterday?
I don't know. I think right now, as we speak, he's going to be a commentator. Even though, if I were the Kolkata Knight Riders, I would have taken him. I would have asked him to lead the side. He was a revelation. I'm not saying that he began leading the first time. We know how good a leader he was until that unfortunate incident happened. And when he took charge of the team after Pat Cummins left, unfortunately, due to the tragedy, the way he led the team in Indore, the way he led the team in Ahmedabad and in the one-days, I think there was a captain waiting in the wings. Kolkata have, to my mind, made a huge blunder. Steve Smith, they should have called for him. They should have included him in the side and made him the captain. I think they might just regret that.
That's a good call, considering that they've just announced Nitish Rana as the captain. Nitish Rana also not much of an experience in leadership positions. Plus, he's always played under the shadow of someone big. You're right when you say Steve Smith could have been one of those changes. But I like the way the announcement was made for Steve Smith coming into IPL. Though it sounded like it was a deep fake video that was created by someone else.
Yeah, but then again, Nitish Rana, and again, this is not going to be a referendum on a player. You never know. The last year, I made this stupid statement wherein I said Bangalore have picked Dinesh Karthik, who's a part-time cricketer and a full-time commentator.
Yeah, I remember
he proved
that.
me wrong. I mean, he proved many people wrong.
True.
So, it would be naive of me to say that Nitish Rana may not be a good leader or may not be somebody who would revel in these conditions. But the fact is, and the fact remains, that he is not part of the Delhi Ranji Trophy team anymore.
Yep.
So somebody who is not part of the trophy team anymore.
Yep.
So somebody who is not part of the domestic Ranji Trophy team, for him to lead an IPL team, I think that's a very, very big ask. Again, I don't know whether or not this will spur the team or whether the team will come down. I would have rather gone in with Sunil Narayan.
And Vikrant, just before we let you go, do you have a pick on who is going to be the champion for the 2023 IPL?
Well, Punjab has always been my favorite. My younger son is a Mumbai Indians fan. I live in Delhi. Kolkata was one of my favorite teams because of Saurav Ganguly. I like Chennai Super Kings a lot, and Rajasthan are my new favorites. So I picked 6. I think one of the 6 should definitely be the champion.
Okay, so we just have to start calling you Splinters because you're on the fence from now on. All right, Vikrant, thank you very much for your time. We do appreciate it on
Thank
Talk
you.
100.3.
Thanks,